Stop scrolling. Look at the screen. What you're about to hear happened to real bodies with nerve endings that belonged to people who woke up expecting to see another sunset. These executions were carried out by ordinary people. The man holding the iron bar is a neighbor named Peter or Hans, who drinks at the same tavern as your brother. Number 20. The breaking wheel. The first hit doesn't kill you. That's the point. The executioner uses a heavy iron bar to shatter your shins, then your thighs, then your arms. He knows exactly where to strike to break the bone without stopping your heart. Once the limbs are shattered, the executioner weaves the body through the spokes of a cartwheel. You become a human marionette with its strings cut and stomped on, left alive to hang above the crowd. These methods transformed a living human into a permanent, agonizing public warning. The goal was to ensure the victim remained conscious enough to watch the birds arrive. Number 18, flaying, and number 13, the blood eagle, involve peeling away the exterior skin or opening the ribs to expose vital organs. The executioners were trained to keep the victim oxygenated and awake so they could watch their own lungs flutter. Number 17, boiled alive. It begins with scalding and blisters, but the heat eventually penetrates deep enough to render your body fat into yellow globules that float to the surface of the cauldron. King Henry VIII formally instituted boiling as the legal punishment for poisoners in England. These procedures were results of legislative logic. Courts debated the exact temperature of the water and the duration of the sentence, codifying the state's right to cook enemies in public squares. In this next phase, the brute force stops. The executioner steps back and lets anatomy, time, and nature do the work. Number 19, the forest of stakes. It takes anatomical precision to pound a blunt, greased stake through a human torso without piercing the heart or lungs. It is a skill learned over years to ensure the victim survives the procedure. Vlad the Impaler used this precision to create a forest of 20,000 bodies. The sight of his enemies contorted on stakes broke the morale of the invading Ottoman army, forcing their retreat. Number 7, execution by elephant. Sometimes it's quick. The elephant raises one massive foot and brings it down on the skull. The head pops like a melon. Bone fragments and brain matter spray across the dirt. The crowd cheers. Simple, efficient. This reveals the mechanical nature of historical power. Rulers acted as meticulous engineers of despair, turning the natural world into a state weapon. Number 9, hanging in iron cages. The cage is a permanent fixture of the landscape. You are locked inside and left to the weather and the birds. Your body liquefies and drips through the bars, serving as civic architecture at a busy crossroads. Number 15, Scaphism. The victim is trapped between two boats and force-fed milk and honey until they are incapacitated by diarrhea. The filth inside the boat attracts swarms of flies. They lay eggs, and the resulting maggots burrow into the skin to eat the victim from the inside out over the course of weeks. Weaponizing a victim's own biological functions requires a uniquely dark psychology. It creates a death that strips away the last remnants of human dignity. The top of the list moves away from the crowds. The ultimate cruelty involves total sensory isolation. The oubliette and immurement, being walled up alive, rely on absolute darkness. The clinical insanity caused by isolation and hunger kills the mind long before the heart stops. Number 8, pressed to death. This was a legal procedure used when a defendant refused to enter a plea. Since the trial couldn't proceed, the court used weights to force a confession. In 1692, Giles Corey was pressed for 3 days. He remained silent to ensure his family kept their land, famously answering the sheriff's demands with only 2 words: more weight. These slow, unseen deaths represent a colder form of cruelty, the legalized, quiet erasure of a human life. Number 1, the garrote. The condemned sits in a specialized chair while an iron collar is locked around the throat. The mechanism is a simple screw. As the executioner turns it, the collar tightens, crushing the windpipe and grinding the vertebrae together. If the screw misses the spinal column, the death is prolonged. The victim strangles while the executioner makes manual adjustments to the iron. This mechanical strangulation was legally used in Spain until 1974. While this collar was still used in European prisons, humanity had already put men on the moon and was broadcasting satellite data globally. People were dancing in modern nightclubs while an executioner in the same decade was still turning a screw into a human neck. The abyss is other people. This capacity for cruelty is a permanent part of human nature, and the fact you're still watching is the proof.